That's Brad Martin's gym.
Doing great over here, baby.
Look at him, chucking bombs. He's going nuts.
Jaden, okay.
Double jab to start.
Okay, Chad, Jaden.
They don't have the experience or the know-how to go, well, this might be bad for me. YouTubers and streamers continue to disappoint Uncle Steve. I want to show you guys a brutal knockout and also just pure negligence when it comes to combat sports and sparring. What the f? That's Brad Martin's gym, the Zoo Culture Gym, during their 1-year anniversary. I don't know if that one kid looks familiar, but that's the same guy who took down Bradley Martin. If you watched my latest video, then you saw that. As soon as he scored the knockout, what happened? A zoo of young individuals with their camera phones and their DSLRs crowded the space. And in the middle, with his blue hat, you see Bradley Martin standing there. I just think it's completely insane that Brad Martin thought that that was a great idea. He said, I'm going to invite hundreds of young kids into my gym. I don't believe any of them signed a liability waiver. So he can be legally held accountable for one of these kids getting injured. So we're sparring, no headgear. Obviously, one kid is a wrestler, but he's not an accomplished boxer. And the kid who got starched, I'm pretty sure that kid has no experience. But that wasn't the only boxing match that occurred, if you want to call it a boxing match. Let's keep it moving.
Where's our wrestler?
He's like, Brad, where's the wrestler? The one who's gonna take you down. Where is he?
This guy knows. He saw it. He watched it.
I didn't really see it, but I heard it.
Good.
Okay, how crazy is that? Brad is saying this gentleman here watched his opponent just win by knockout. So he's almost trying to get him nervous, and the kid goes, I didn't see it, I heard it. So he's like trying to get in the kid's head. There's so much weirdness happening in this clip.
He looks pretty serious. Are you Mexican?
Brad goes, he looks pretty serious. So that seems like a very educated way of assessing whether this guy is ready to actually spar without headgear, by the way. And then asks him if he's Mexican.
I'm not rich, bro. All right, 500.
1,000.
Dude, that guy just knocked someone out.
So now they're putting bets on two untrained boxers. Now, the Hispanic gentleman might actually be a boxer. I'm not quite sure, but I know that the wrestler who took down Bradley and won by knockout is not a qualified boxer. He's not someone who obviously has any real technique. So they're placing bets on horses that shouldn't even be racing. All right, so this wrestler gentleman is throwing bombs. Really not the most respectful cat, to be quite honest with you. We do love him because he took Bradley Martin down. That was comedic and all that. But, you know, starching a kid, he's going against guys that probably shouldn't be in there with him. And I just want to say this, I could be wrong. This kid is a collegiate level wrestler. Now, I know you're saying, well, Steve, wrestling and boxing are two completely different martial arts. I get it. But the mentality you have to be able to compete at a collegiate level as a wrestler translates into other parts of your life. So if you put on a pair of boxing gloves, that ability to compete and turn that competitive gene on is always going to be there. Look at him, chucking bombs. He's going nuts. Kids everywhere. There's a pillar behind the Hispanic kid.
Give it back. Give it back, guys.
They can easily fall into equipment, right? Equipment, possibly. Probably a dumbbell laying around somewhere. Russ is getting a little tired, though.
Come on.
30 seconds!
Nice jab by the Hispanic gentleman. Left hand lands. Now, chances are, if you see somebody throw a straight left to the body, then chances are he has boxing experience. I believe this guy does. Obviously, the wrestler's winging punches, doesn't know what he's doing, and he's getting tired. His punches are losing the steam. Now, this other guy who goes to the body, very intelligent liver shot there with the left hand. Hook over the top. 3, 2, 1. All right, so do I think this should be happening? No. Do I think that the wrestler kid's losing? Yes. He's like, one more. He can't take a loss. That's that wrestler's mentality.
Street Beefs part 5. We're doing good. Gym Beefs right now. We're make time. Go. Hands up, jab. Keep the jab going.
The wrestler got a second win, and he's throwing bombs, but it's not going to be enough, it seems like. Good left hand down the pipe. Also, sparring against a southpaw, if you're a wrestler who has not had to deal with that, it might be a little difficult for you. I think it is for him. He's getting tired.
30, 25, 30. Back it up, back it up.
Oh, he's back to the conventional stance.
Step back.
His investment in the body is very smart, pulling away from the punches. The kid definitely has a stern boxing advantage over the wrestler.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, we got to break it down technically. We'll give it to the Hispanic gentleman. We think he did really good. He's really the star of the show, right? Because the wrestler, I believe his name is Giorgio, took down Bradley Martyn, embarrassed him, also scored a brutal knockout over someone that had no business being in there. But as you can see, the environment is not conducive to sparring. I'm someone who has owned and operated 2 gyms, and I've been in the gym business my whole life. So to see these guys boxing in a makeshift ring where the actual ropes are human beings with feet of different sizes, you can easily roll your ankle, you can land, hit your head on a shoe. You know, obviously you just saw homeboy run into the lap pull down, as I said, so this is not a very safe environment to be sparring. Also, headgear. But Steve, headgear isn't really gonna help you with being concussed. That's not the point. Lacerations. You need headgear, guys. You need headgear.
Who thinks Matthew won? Yeah!
We all know Matthew won.
Who thinks Giorgio won? Yeah!
Sorry, Giorgio, you lost that fight. It shouldn't have happened anyway, but we're gonna give that to Matthew anyway on the Steven Strangles scoreboard of life. The truth is, everybody lost in that video. Everybody lost. Lose-lose. Adin Ross, who's also a big streamer, had a sparring show, stream, whatever you want to call it, on his channel. And the knockout on this one, I would argue, is even worse than the Bradley Martyn sparring session. At the very least, they're in a ring. There's ropes. There's not human beings. No headgear. Not sure if they have mouthpieces in. I'll assume they do. I'll give them that, even though I can't even speak on whether that's true or not.
All right, so Jaden is the one.
Jaden got a jab.
Jaden, okay.
Judging on the way these guys are ducking and holding their hands, they have zero experience.
He unloads that right hand, it's gonna get nasty.
Yep, no, chin up, punching down from their tits. We call that titty boxing, very bad technique. Uppercut is horrendous. Okay, right hand. And then punches him when he's down.
Oh my God.
Okay, he had a mouthpiece. I saw the mouthpiece fly out. And look in the top left corner with Adin Ross being held closely. I mean, these are the kinds of environments we're talking about. Now, you can say, hey, the kid stepped in. It's on him, Uncle Steve. Don't throw shade at these people. They're grown men. The point is, you got to protect these kids from themselves. They don't have the experience or the know-how to go, well, this might be bad for me. They think it's a video game. They think it's the UFC they watch on TV. They don't realize the repercussions of getting caught with a shot are dire. These kids aren't conditioned to take shots. Incredibly dangerous. A few of you guys mentioned situations where, listen, backyard tough man street fight type situations are very similar where these guys aren't conditioned. But the truth is, if you talk about street beefs, at the very least will have a nurse or medical professional on site just in case something happens. If we talk about Adin Ross's video, I'm not sure if there's anyone there to help this kid out after getting starched. If we talk about Bradley Martyn's situation, it's even worse because we have hundreds of kids in a confined space in Los Angeles, factor in traffic. So if I knock a kid out, he goes down, there's no medical professionals on site, and the EMT is not gonna be able to get from the hospital to Zoo Culture in time because of traffic. Then they have to get the gurney through the crowd of people. It's a complete clusterfuck. So you can't really equate the two. I see the similarity in a sense where none of these people should be sparring. The point is, there is a subtle difference. What's most disgusting about that clip is he knocked him out and then went for an additional punch. Those additional shots sometimes can be very dangerous. Now, when you see a guy stiffen up, that's called the fencer's response. In the hood, we call it starching. You're probably asking, sure, but why is it caused? The fencing response is related to brain injuries caused by soft brain tissue striking the skull's hard bone. This induces gray matter damage and momentarily disables higher brain activity. So that's it on a scientific level. You know, when I watch these videos, I dislike them almost as much as you guys like this video. Damn, this kid is so good at it. The truth of the matter is, fellas, I get at these guys because I do feel as if I have a certain perspective that might be a little bit more nuanced than the average viewer, and that I've operated gyms. I understand liability. I understand that you have to protect people from themselves. When you see the crowd of kids and they all got their camera phones, you can see they're all fresh-faced young men. They don't really know who they are. They're all there trying to get in somebody's live stream, to get noticed, to get content. They look up to Brad because Brad has accomplished a certain amount of success within the space of content creation, and you have to be a good leader for these people because otherwise, you know, people are gonna get hurt. Now, if Uncle Steve was throwing this at his gym, you know what I'd do? I'd throw headgear on them, a mouthpiece. I'd have a qualified person refereeing the match, not just a random dude who lifts weights occasionally and maybe an employee of the gym. I'll make sure that I protect them from themselves. So if they get hit with a strong left hand, I jump in and give the standing 8. I don't wait for the big kibosh where the guy's knocked out. I also make sure they're in a confined space. Why do I have to say this? Why do I have to even say it? You can't spar with free weights around. And Adin Ross, that whole situation is really just diabolical. If you want me to be completely real with you, this is just disgusting. That knockout is gonna stay with that kid for a very long time. Now, whether or not you think this is high quality content or not, entertaining or not, I'd love to know your opinion on whether or not you think it's safe. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Check out the link, comment down below. That's my newsletter. What do we focus on? We focus on discipline, habitual construction, getting sober and clean, or at least managing your vices, getting in top physical shape, and creating a code of conduct that we can be proud of. If you're interested in any of that, check out the link down below. Strangle Gang, as always, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one. Shout out Blast Crew.